Hello and welcome back to the channel. We're here at Via Moto in Woolwell in Barnsley, and there's a question that we keep getting asked all the time.
That is, why are Chinese bikes getting such a bad rap?
Yeah, in the comments when we've been looking at bikes, a lot of people have said don't go near Chinese bikes, they're bad quality, they're cheap, they're no good, you'll regret it, they lose money. So we're going to explore this. We're actually here in front of this one. This is a CF Moto NK800.
It's lovely.
800cc bike. You might notice that there's still cellophane on stuff. It's just come out of the box. That's why there's no mud guard. It should have a mud guard and it should have wind mirrors, obviously. But
It's brand new.
800cc, brand new. It's got 8 years roadside assistance.
8 years, that's incredible.
And that covers you all the way around Europe.
Yeah, you can get stuck in Italy and they'll come and sort you out.
It's got 4 years warranty. It's got a massive touchscreen iPad on the front and more buttons than what you'd think. It's got cruise control, traction control, sat nav. How much do you think it is?
Well, I'd have thought £10,000, but you said it's not £8,000, so...
Well, you think it's cheap at 8?
Yeah, it looks really smart. Look at the tyres and the orange bits.
It's £5,999
Wow.
on the road. It's a bit of a sporty looking number, isn't it?
Yeah, you're going to sit on it?
I'll have a look to sit.
Do you feel comfortable?
Actually, I do. I mean, as we know, I'm not the smallest guy. It feels sporty. As you know, we're not experts at biking. We're new to it. Everybody's got more experience than us. But we are coming to this with fresh eyes, which might be an advantage or a disadvantage. What we've been told, the perception of Chinese bikes is that they're inferior quality, inferior parts, unreliable, they're unknown, they're not as good as the Japanese and European models. Now, I've been talking to a few people that have been telling us what the trend's been in motorbiking.
That's right, yeah.
And they said that early on, in the 50s and 60s, it were all British-based, Triumph, Norton, BSA, and everybody thought they were the bikes to go for. But then when it got into the 80s and 90s, things started to change and the Japanese came in.
The Japanese 4.
The big 4 they call them, don't they? So Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha and Suzuki. And then everybody started moving over to them, but apparently they didn't go down very well at first either. But then after that, when it got into the noughties and beyond, it came back to more European models. BMW got really big for like the Ewan McGregor style adventure
KTMs.
KTM. Good job, Yori. I can't remember all this.
That's when Ewan did around the world, whatever it was called.
That's
Or did it on a KTM in the 90s?
He did it on a BMW, but he looked at doing it on a KTM, I think. There's a lot of people in the industry that have been in touch with me and said, look, things are changing. And they're changing for a number of reasons. And economic reasons is one of them. That we're all getting a little bit strapped for cash because we're having to pay more money out for other things.
Even more so next year.
And there's think that next year is going to be a big thing. So BMWs are very expensive. But if you want to get into biking and it's a luxury thing, it's a bit of a toy for most people. There aren't as many that commute year round. Now I do. Mine's like a functional thing. But biking for a lot of people, it's like a toy. So can we still afford to have the BMWs now?
Well, this is £6,000.
Brand new.
8 years cover.
So brand new.
Wow.
Now, we've also found out that although BMW, which is a prestige brand, and it's German, a lot of the parts are actually made in China. And a lot of these people that are making these bikes have now got years of experience of making these bikes.
Yeah, that's right. Really important.
Because they've been manufacturing for other companies. But there's one big thing with it.
Oh, what's that?
The badge.
The badge.
The badge. The badge seems to be a big thing. Now, as much as you don't want to buy into badges and pay a premium for badges, the badge means more than just what it looks like. It's a representation of the quality, of the heritage and the pedigree. And it's fair to say that Chinese bikes at the minute don't have that pedigree.
They're still earning theirs, aren't they?
Or heritage. Our granddads never rode CF Motos.
That's right.
whereas they did ride
Triumphs.
Chinese bikes have always been known as being cheap, and not just cheap in price, but cheap in parts.
Okay.
And cheap in how they're put together. But that's changed quite a lot. And they've made these improvements. They've obviously realised that people's not going to buy it. They don't want a cheap bike. They want good quality stuff. CF Motor, actually, they've worked alongside KTM.
Okay.
And they're bringing their technologies and their manufacturing techniques to their bikes.
Okay.
And also the materials as well. You know, the metal work that they use and the type of metals and alloys that they use.
Yeah. It's the same as a KTM.
They're trying to match that. So why is it cheaper? Do you know why it's cheaper?
Don't know why, tell us.
So it's economies of scale.
Yes.
So China, they build so many that obviously it's cheaper them to buy the raw materials.
Yeah.
The other thing is that China doesn't have the labour costs associated with what we've got.
Yeah.
Like Harley Davidson, they're expensive because America's got some of the highest labour costs in the world, whereas in China it's still cheap. So unless they want to make a huge margin, they can bring it into the market and sell it.
Very affordable.
Well, now I've been lucky enough to do a test ride on a CLX 700, a CF Motor, and I must say it was very, very good.
Yeah.
It wasn't the style that I was looking for, but it was an extremely fun bike.
So you were impressed?
To ride. Really, yeah. I don't know if you agree with this, but each bike you ride it differently.
Okay.
The bike itself, like this, I'd imagine it's quite
This
nimble.
looks like a sporty bike, this one.
So the CF Moto CLX 700, I thought it wasn't probably the right bike for me at this time because it were a bit too...
Fast.
Yeah, a bit too fast, a bit too tempting for me. This one is obviously quicker. Now, would I buy this one? I think it's too big for me at the minute, too fast.
Yeah, okay. However,
Yeah,
if in a couple of years' time, how would you feel?
I think I'd definitely consider it.
Yeah.
Because
It
at the
looks
end of the day,
beautiful.
you know, there's the badge and there's the perceived quality. But sometimes that quality is not there. We know ourselves, we've bought
We do.
cars that have got a badge there and
Not been
it's
that
been
good.
terrible. I've had a BMW that after, 8,000 miles, engine management system all went. You've had a BMW that
And an Audi.
an Audi. Your BMW had a full engine strip down.
It did, yeah.
What was it, 10,000 miles?
Yeah, it wasn't many miles at all. I was horrified.
Now, it's under warranty, but the quality is not. You can't say that that's good quality
Superior.
coming
No, that's right.
out of there. And the thing is that you pay a premium up front for that quality. So if you're paying less for it, would it be better to do that? I think it's food for thought.
Absolutely, yeah.
So one thing that CF Moto is lacking, and we've touched on this earlier, is brand loyalty. You know, if you've always ridden Triumph, I ride Triumphs. I get that. You know, it's part of your identity as well, isn't it? Or if you're a Harley rider, or if you ride Ducati, people seem to find themselves in these little categories. And I know a lot of people have different types, but you get a good bike, it seems like you get very loyal. And why not? They're not, you know, if something goes wrong with them, they can be very unsafe. So there's that as well. You want a reliable machine, don't you? And with this at the moment, it doesn't sound like they've got that heritage and that background. And one of the big things now, I've got a Keyway, and I had a problem with a part where I couldn't get hold of a part.
Yeah.
Because it had to come from China. I didn't know when it was going to turn up. However, with CF Moto, all of their parts come from Austria, and in most of the cases, you can get them in 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
That's good. If you buy a CF Motor, you can get the parts.
Because the thing is, what you don't want is to buy a bike and then have to wait for the part to come on a container ship.
Yeah,
that
no
takes
good.
forever. So that's quite reassuring.
Our motorhome was 10 months. That's a motorhome and not bike, but it was 10 months for a part.
And that were coming from Spain. And that's something that I never thought of before. But I think since everything happened with COVID and there were delays and stuff, we've never seen, some things don't seem to have improved, do they? No. You know, it's just not improved. So if I'm buying a bike, I want to make sure that if something goes wrong with it, then I can get hold of it. Because if it's an important part, you could have your bike off-road for 10 months.
So that's really positive.
Yeah.
for this bike.
And the thing is, no matter how cheap it is in price, would you really want to be waiting that time? You wouldn't, would you?
Absolutely not.
It's no use to you. It doesn't matter what you've paid for it. If you can't use it, it's no use. So as impressed as I am with this, it's not the bike for me. So I think we'll have a little look round at what else there is.
Now, that's not because you don't want a CF Moto. That's because it's the sportiness,
Yeah, that's
you're
it.
looking at.
Luckily for me, I've got no brand affiliation. You know, I've not had many bikes. I haven't had that beautiful bike. I haven't had that amazing after-sale service or that bad after-sale service. So I can look round on this. I've got no reputation in the biking world where, oh wow, you always ride Triumph. I'm not listening to you anymore. So I can try these things. But this one, it's a bit too big, bit too sporty for me. So we'll have a look round and see what else we've got.
Yeah. This is a lovely seat.
This is a CLX 300 CF Moto. You can see here. So that's 300cc.
Yeah. Look at the price.
And that's 299. So that's in a similar range to that BMW one that I took out, 310.
Yeah.
So there's like over £2,000 difference
It's
on
a lot.
that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it looks awesome.
And they come in this blue colour as well.
Oh, yeah.
300 sports bike. And then this is a 450 NK, so a naked 450.
Different design here, look.
With the fairings. And you've got this TFT screen. Look at that, 399 to £4,000.
Yeah, look. 2024. That
0
seems
miles.
bigger, that.
This is a 700 Sport CLX. That's the white version, but the sports version as well. Look at that. It's £5,000 for the sports version. Now this is the bike that interests me.
Okay.
So this is an adventure style bike, 700 MT, so 700cc. You can get boxes for it.
It's quite big.
It's got a TFT screen.
Oh, yeah, I see that. It's got like a finger protector.
Yeah. So this is a second-hand one. It's a year old. A lot of people get worried, I think, about Chinese bikes not holding the value and everything. But look at this. This is amazing. 800 MT, so it's 800cc engine. It's got 5,188 miles on it. There's like a bigger screen on this. If you have a look, this looks like an upgrade. Look at that, with like a windshield on there. It's got all this nice detail on here, like tank guards. And then there's a big box on the back, rack for panniers. I mean, you can see so this is after 5,000 miles. It looks pretty much brand new. Price? What do you think?
10.
7,599. Which it's still a lot of money, but I think for what you're getting. Now, earlier in the week, I went to see my friends Josh and Phil at Bennett's in Barnsley. Bennett's have been there for absolutely years, as long as I can remember, and it's where I bought my Keyway. One of the reasons why I wanted to go is to look at the Vogue models. And these are Chinese bikes, and a lot of people have been saying, take a look at these, because the people that make the engines for some of them actually make engines for BMW. So this model that I'm looking at here is a Vogue 525 DSX. It's an adventure bike, 47.6 horsepower, got tubeless tyres, auxiliary headlights as standard. There's a 7-inch colour LCD instrument panel, and all this comes in at 6,299. Now, if I wanted a bigger bike, they also do this one, which is a Vogue DS900X. And this is a 895cc inline twin cylinder engine, and that's got 95 horsepower. It's got heated seat, heated grips, Pirelli tyres. Now this model is £8,999 plus on the road price. So that's like a £9,000 adventure bike that you could argue might rival a Triumph Tiger or a BMW GS.
So, what do you think you're going to do?
I think I'm going to have a look into these Chinese bikes. I think I love the idea of them and I like the price of them. And from first glance, I don't think the quality is, it don't feel cheap. It doesn't feel cheap. Seems like you're getting a lot of bike for the money. But
Getting a lot of assurances as well.
people that's got in touch with me that are in the industry have said, when you're looking at bikes, do not discount Chinese bikes, because whether people like it or not, they're here to stay, and they're probably going to do what the Japanese bikes did back in the 80s and 90s. Now, you might not agree with that. Tell me what you think. I don't know. As I say, I'm new to this. These aren't my opinions, because I don't know. I've got no history with it. This is what I'm being told. But can you tell me, what do you think? Would I make a mistake buying a Chinese bike, or do you think there's value to be had in looking at them? And I know they're new, but so the depreciation's a big thing, and that would be the same for anything new, but I also get a warranty. If you've got a Chinese bike and you've had it for a bit, leave us a comment, tell me how you're getting on with it. Is it worth it? Have you had problems? Just let me know. It's going to help me to find the bike I want. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really helps the channel. The hunt continues, but I feel like we're starting to narrow things down. See you next time.
Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me.